I'm streaming. I think this is how that works. Maybe. It's been a while. Like 28 years again. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're actually doing art if you can believe it. If I still even do that sometimes. I guess I do, don't I? But yeah, welcome to the stream. Hang on. Let me see where I'm at here. Well, that's not good. What? Hang on a second. Well, where's my drawing window? It's BRB. Okay. So why is my drawing window, blank? Huh. Okay, well that kind of puts a kink in my plan. Okay. Hey, where's my screen? Where's my drawing screen? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, hang on. Chaos, as usual. Yay! I fixed it! Woohoo! Okay, we're good. We're good. I think. Hopefully. Could you imagine? Just completely and utterly gone, huh? All burned to ashes. It has been quite a while, huh? God, I forgot how to draw my ghost characters. I still do draw them, I just haven't drawn them in quite some time. I always loved how flowy Ray's hair was. I say this as if something's happened to, like, my characters in my story. Nothing's happened, I just haven't really been as active with it in a while, because I've had other hyperfixations take over. 500 hours, huh? Oh my god. Video games, huh? Hey, they sparked my creativity again, at least, you know? If only I could, you know, get back into the swing of making videos again. Looked at my channel, and it's, like, basically a dead channel now, and I'm like, okay. God, I should probably fix that. Oh my god, dude. Anyway, though, things have been, pretty chill. Things have been looking up. You know, my motivation kind of wavers? Is that a good term? You know, like, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. I think I talk about it every single time on the stream. I feel like people are starting to get sick of it. They're like, okay, we get it. You stopped drawing for a while, we all know. But, like, you know, in general, I am happy to be drawing a bit more than I did for a while, you know. Because, I mean, it is part of my life, and I do want to continue my art career, and I say career, my art passion, you know, and stuff. Oh crap, I hope the chat's working this time. I didn't even think about that. You can now pin a message to the top of your chat. I'm just gonna type a message, and it's just gonna be really ridiculous. It's gonna be the most ridiculous message you've ever seen, just wait. But yeah, dude, what's this rock music coming out of nowhere? My goodness. time for a high proper actual drawing of Ray. We haven't had one in so long. And then for videos, you know, I saw that other video I was working on. I'm being honest, oh gosh, it just looks so bad, dude. My style, oh, my style. I don't think my style's necessarily changed a whole lot since getting into, like, more Baldur's Gate fan art, but I definitely have been trying to be a little bit more realistic here. I'm gonna turn the camera. Hang on, maybe. Where are you? But yeah, I mean, honestly, things have been pretty chill. See, I debated whether or not I was gonna play a game tonight, and I was like, well, I could play a game, or 2, or 4, but I was also like, I just don't know if I want my channel to end up becoming a gaming channel. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it in terms of what I want to do with the channel for the future. Obviously, I do still want to make animations and drawings and stuff, but, you know, for the time being, I do also want to try and get some actual videos going. So that would actually be kind of, you know, helpful. There are some video ideas I have, for sure. But like, as always, it's more about getting the motivation to really do them and really contribute to them, rather than just having, like, the artistic ability to do it. Or, I mean, even in some cases, though, I'll try to make a video and it just will not come out right because of the fact that my art skill is just not there in certain places, especially backgrounds. So you can definitely see me struggle with that in some videos. And yeah, it's no fun. It's no fun at all. I really like my ability to be able to work on videos and, you know, actually make them look good, and, you know, just kind of happens that if, you know, you don't draw for a while, you don't really get any better. Which, I mean, you know, who would have thunk about that kind of prophecy? You know, who really deciphers that codex? But, it's just how the cookie crumbles. Anyway. It is high time I get to drawing again. His hair is starting to look a lot more like Isaac's. Hang on, I'm drawing his hair right, correct? Don't mind me, just looking up a character I've drawn for 15 years. Look, I gotta make sure I'm drawing his hair right, okay? His hair starts to overlap with, like, every other character I have. Okay. Alright. Now look at that. Look at that good old hair. Good old Ray. Ray from Ghost Mask this time. For real, for real. Actually. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, this music is blaring. This music is blaring in my ear. I hope it's not too loud on the live stream. That's always my biggest fear, that we just hear this cripplingly bad music. Just awful. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's just, it hurts my ears, man. And, not to mention, most of the copyright-free music, it's not bad, I guess. It's just so generic. I wish I could play real, like, good music on stream, but, you know, it is what it is. It would get claimed, and I don't know if live streaming music is, like, any worse than just putting it in your video, and I don't really want to find out by messing with YouTube's guidelines or anything, so I tend to not really want to find that information out for the first time. That is certainly a Ray. Look at that. Look at him go. Oh my god. Okay, what's this? What is this music? Alright, it's just space western. Definitely what I want to listen to. I so wish we could have different music, but I've looked through the others. This is probably my favorite of the music, and they're probably gonna start to dislike me using their music if I'm just gonna meme on it. So sorry people who make the free music. You're doing a great job, I promise. 10 out of 10. And Ray looks aged. He's like, it's been 84 years, Maddie. Oh, and look, I just realized I was drawing at an angle. Just gonna pick him up and woohoo. Nothing like a good old stream. Oh my gosh. Salvaging the last of my channel's remnants. Good lord. Hey, that's okay though. It's never too late. Even if I say it'll be. I'm sorry, I'm starting to become unhinged. I'm starting to sing to myself. People watch it like, what kind of stream? Oh my gosh. It's okay, all my streams end up becoming unhinged eventually. Look at him go! Look at him go! I am live, right? That would really suck if I wasn't. Could you imagine? It's like that one time I streamed and there was literally no one in the chat for like 15 minutes and I was like, what's going on? Where is everybody? And I realized, oh, it's because you didn't actually press record. Happens. It does happen. It does. To me, mostly, of course. Why wouldn't it? I'm gonna move the, I think I already moved the nose a bit up. There we go. Now time to look for a color reference. It's been 84 years since I colored. Alright. Audrey, what are you doing? Just trying to get in. Oh my gosh. Dude, she is not happy. Audrey, please. I'm kind of busy doing something important. I'm joking. This is not that important. Oh my gosh, she's gonna knock over my microphone if I let her in though. Oh. I promise you, Audrey, it's okay. Here, I'm gonna use this reference even though it's kind of old. Man. Hey, where's my bucket tool? There we go. Okay. Woo! I'm getting started. Finally, something's happening. It would be kind of unhinged if I just switched to playing a video game in front in like the middle of all of this. There's only so much unhinged breakthroughs I can get. Audrey, I promise it's okay, Audrey. Hello, welcome to the stream where I slowly lose my mind. We've got some ghost mask art. I'm still fatally non-involved in my video making. I'm getting there. It's getting better. Sometimes. I think I chalked it up to a lack of motivation, but I'm sure there's several other factors that kind of caused the downfall, I like to say. the fall, if you will. Oh my goodness. But yeah, definitely doing some drawing. And, I gotta draw Rose again soon. I did get a video idea the other day with Rose again, and I was like, you know, I have a lot. I really want to do the song Copacabana with Rose because I feel like it's a great song for her. At the same time, I'm like, when am I gonna get the strength to continue? But it's okay. I definitely feel like I've improved a little bit, at least in the aspect of like, the motivation's coming back. It's not like it's not as much there. It's more so just getting myself to start. Which is always kind of the hardest part about starting a project is the start. It's always harder to start a project than like not, you know what I mean? Like, it's just harder. And I think that might just be from it could be from a lot of things. Oh, that's not his eye color anymore. His eye color is a light. Oh, I don't feel like looking for it. Oh gosh. There's like 20,000 files. Oh, I hate it not being the exact eye color though. Oh gosh. Okay, well I will go back and change this. It's a light orange. It's not like a deep orange. It used to be like a dark orange, as you could see. That Ray is from like a long time ago. We don't talk about that Ray anymore. We don't talk about that art style anymore. I mean, to be fair, my art definitely it has improved, yes, but I also feel like it's not really improved as much as I kind of wanted it to be. And I mean, I chalk that up for a lot of things. It makes complete sense that if you don't draw for a while, you're just not going to get as much progress done on your art, which, yeah, like I said, I get that, I understand that, I cope with that. Still very unfortunate, though. So my cat is still screaming to get inside. My baby, I am streaming. Also, can you see, like, the little, like, it's not filling in the color all the way, and it's driving me nuts, and for a while, Clip Studio Paint has been doing the same where it does not fill in the color. Like, it's still kind of like, you can see, like, the lighter color sticking. I don't know how to fix that. I've done everything. I've looked at the rules, looked at the tools. It's not working. I don't like it. It makes me so angry. I don't know how to switch it. I don't know how to fix it. But man, like, it's so annoying. You know, I actually really like this shade of orange for his eyes. It's actually a pretty nice shade. As long as his eyes are orange, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, anyway. I'm thinking about going back to the hyper pop style of shading. I haven't really done that in a long time. Would love to do it for a video, but as you guys know, the video making is not exactly something I'm good at anymore. I remember when I could make videos. That was a nice time in my life. Oh well. All things must come to an end eventually, even if they're good. I gotta say, not jiving with this like cowboy bop. I don't know what. I can't. I'm just listening to it. I just can't do it. Forgot this is the one with the intro that's just shockingly. Is this any better? Ah. No. See, but the way that I think about it is that in the scenario, you don't know exactly what happened with Isaac, you know? Not necessarily, at least. You don't... It's implied, of course, in the video that Isaac may or may not have been responsible for the guy's death, but I assure you, there is far more to it than that. Isaac is not an evil character, and it's definitely meant to be more of kind of a shocking revelation of things, more so than Isaac actually doing something purely evil just to be evil. So, if it makes you feel better, slight spoiler, but it's not, the scene is not what it's actually looking like. It's not really meant, Isaac isn't actually potentially doing that. It's more so like something had happened, something transpired, and it wasn't necessarily Isaac's fault. So, if that makes you feel better, Isaac did not willingly hurt like an innocent person. because his alignment as a person is far, far better than that. He's a good person at heart. And even though Isaac has his flaws, he is not a bad person. He's not going to hurt people innocently. And he's a ghost in it, so obviously whatever happens, he kind of forgets that he's also a, you know, immortal being who has great power, and sometimes that power can get kind of out of control, and he doesn't realize it, especially when someone does pick a fight with him. So, you know, the moral of it wasn't necessarily that Isaac did this bad thing and that he's evil, more so that you don't know the whole story yet in the context of the situation. So yeah, if it makes you feel better, it's not nearly as bad as it looks. It's kind of one of those situations where you get your hand caught in the cookie jar, but your sibling actually told you to steal the cookie, you know. So that if that helps with his dynamic, you know, he's not a bad person. Isaac is a very complicated character at heart. He's also very, you know, he has his own motivations, you know, he can be kind of selfish, obviously. He can think about himself only, but evil in his, you know, he wouldn't hurt an innocent person for no reason. Just to give you some clarification of the situation. Now, if it were any other character, like Rose, obviously, you could probably figure out that she's not exactly the most morally of good characters, and so it would make sense that she would potentially do that without feeling any sort of guilt. And Isaac does feel guilt. He doesn't like whatever transpired happened. It's why the ghosts have to kind of figure out how to solve the situation, and he even ends up being represented by someone before he ends up escaping as a ghost, which I know sounds silly, but because he's a ghost, he has to be very careful about how he leaves the situation. And also, he does want to, you know, stick up for the actions. A lot of Ghost Mask is still a very much set in progress sort of thing. So if anything happens in the story and y'all are like, I don't really like that, that doesn't really fit for the character, I can always go back and change it. It's nothing is ever set permanently. None of my videos are permanently canon. Like, canon changes all the time in my story. So there might be something that happens in a video, and later on down the line I might say like, oh, it's not really canon anymore because I was kind of just testing the waters with it. But don't get me wrong, I do like the storyline for this, and I do think that you guys will enjoy it as well if I were ever able to do something with it or show you what I was thinking. But no, Isaac's not hurting people for no reason. There is more to the situation than meets the eye. It's definitely a very nuanced situation. It's a very chaotic one. It's messy. Yeah, Ray still defeating the Phantom is also very unhinged. That's still very much canon, though. Don't get me wrong. Like, Ray absolutely can defeat a Phantom. The biggest thing about Ray is that he's not just strong, but he also is just very knowledgeable in ghosts at this point in the story. Like, his knowledge of how phantoms work is unhinged as well. He's constantly researching how phantoms, basically how phantoms work, why they're so powerful, why do they get so much immense power, you know, their soul their soul itself grows more powerful and more stable as the years go on. And so by the time someone's like 1,000 years old in the afterlife, they're just this absolute monster of a power. And it's also why a lot of phantoms end up holding positions of power as well, because they just tend to be the most powerful kind of person. So naturally, most people tend to look to them for advice for running countries and stuff, because yeah, they do run countries, and phantoms are scary. They're very scary. And so Ray being able to defeat one is huge. It's a huge part of the story. His fellow friends are very horrified that he's even able to do that. A lot of people are very horrified at the fact that Ray even defeats a Phantom. Probably one of the worst parts about it is the fact that it's like Ray is just unstoppable. Like, he's literally like an unstoppable force. And that's a huge part about why I like it, like writing his stuff as well. I gotta do a different music. Was sail. That's what that sounds like. Oh god. gonna go with this one. I'm just gonna pick it. I absolutely love how crazy Ray gets in terms of power. He gets really powerful in the story, and he gets more powerful than even that. I mean, Ray is able to take on an entire armada of people. At a certain part in the story, Ray is able to hold off like 20 different powerful people. Not phantoms necessarily, but very, very powerful people. He's able to hold off like 10 or 20 of them. So, on his own, with no help from anyone else. He ends up going on like a solo mission at one point because something happens to Ray and he has to basically figure out how to get out of this situation that he's in. How do I want to go about this? An overlay? Oh yeah, sentries. It's definitely the first. It's one of the first times because even Mantis is like, bro, what happened there? You know. So for sure, it's definitely one of the first times that started happening. Ray absolutely is unhinged, man. He just. And another part of it too is that power does corrupt people, you know? And I think, I mean, obviously playing Baldur's Gate helped me realize that. certain endings, certain characters made me be like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, maybe making someone who craves power really powerful is not a good thing. But, you know, in terms of story, yeah, no, the more powerful someone becomes, the more evil line they tend to become as well, because power really does change people for the worst, in my opinion. Obviously you can be powerful and be a good person, but you have to really fight that urge, that like really crazy urge to just be a bad person, you know? And so it really depends on, I guess, how you go about it, but you have to be pretty careful with that. But yeah, after he defeats the Phantom, especially after, his ego starts to kind of increase too. And you know, I never think of Ray as a bad person, but he does start to become kind of different, in a bad way, of course, because Ray is a good person, but he's also a very, I guess you could say, it's very easy for him to become corrupted, because he also is one of those characters that, you know, he didn't have a whole lot of power in his life, and so getting that power back in some form of way is good for him, you know? That's kind of how he is. In terms of Ray's backstory, though, I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, of course. There's so many things that happen in his life, and a part of him also just wants to be able to, you know, protect his friends from the other ghosts that exist in this world, because the afterlife is not a fun place. It's a very dangerous place, full of a lot of people that want to see you do harm, or see you to harm, and because you can't die, that just means that people have no expressive way to get all that violence out, so they're even more violent, and they're even more crazy, and the world is crazy and bad. And so, you know, Ray also wants to be able to protect people, but there's also all sorts of things where just naturally, once again, becoming powerful just kind of corrupts your mind and makes you not as good of a person. And it's kind of what happens to Ray a lot in the story. But, you know, kind of how I'm writing it, of course. Like I said, things are subject to change at all points in the story, especially if things don't really seem right, or if they seem like, oh, well, this didn't really seem to fit the character. Like I said, things can always change. And so I feel like for sure that's kind of one of the things that we'll probably stay the same. Like, I'll probably keep Ray becoming more powerful and more a power obsessed a thing in Ghost Mask, but things are always subject to change, like I said. I'm sorry. What is this music? What is this music? This I just want music that just doesn't sound like this. Is that too much to ask? You know what? Okay, I'll take it. It's fine. You know what? It's totally fine. I just, it's just so, I just don't expect it. I just don't expect the music to just sound like that, you know? I mean, I am not raving out, man. I am sitting at my desk quietly. It just, the energy change in the music is, it's so funny to me, but it's just so chaotic at the same time. Like, good lord. Oh my god, Audrey, what do you want? She's yelling at me. I don't even know if I really did this well, but I kind of like how the colors came together. Hyperpop a bit? Not really hyperpop, but you know, kind of. Kind of what I was attempting to do, I guess. Man, this music sure is great. I guess what I want out of the music is to kind of fit the theme of like relaxing draw. Not I'm about to go party. But I guess I can't complain. I am the one that chooses the music. I mean, I'm acting like someone is holding a knife to me and being like, you must play this music. Or else terrible things happen. Like, no, I can choose my own music. It's just, I don't know where to begin. Okay. Yeah, we're just vibing with it. You know what? We're vibing. We're vibing with it. It's good. It's fine. It's dandy. I love it. The chaos of the situation. It's wonderful. It's just so... it's just so absolutely not what you expect music to sound like. Like, you know what music normally sounds like. I give this artist too much headache. You know, they do a great job. Great job. Thank you to Unicorn Heads. Great job, guys. Love your music. Please don't be mad at me for joking. Just next thing you know, Japan. Your stream has been taken down. Oh. What happened there? Oh. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be so mean. I am joking. I promise. Oh my gosh, dude. It's okay. We live for chaos at this stream. Have I actually had a stream that went like totally well? Where like nothing bad happened and there was no chaos? I just don't think that happens. Rose would be the kind of person that would put the radio on like full volume to like your least favorite song. Like Zach would be like, you know, Zach is the kind of person that's like, I hate country, you know. Zach's just like, I can't stand country. Okay, we're not playing country anymore. All right? And Rose is like, okay, we're not playing country, I guess. And he's like, yeah, we're not playing country, okay? That means, you know, no country, right? And then, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes later, you just hear it. Just hear the banjos. Banjos. What is this, the Wild West? You just hear the most abrasive country music of your entire life. I hate this music so much. I'm sorry. I can't even concentrate. We're going back to this one. So relaxing. So relaxing. Anyway, yeah, Rose would just blare the country music. Zach be like, do you mind? do you mind? No, this is my favorite song. This is my favorite song, so we're playing it. And she just hides the speaker so he can't find it. Oh, dude, Zach would be livid. I don't know how he puts up with her shenanigans, if I'm being honest. Like, genuinely, man's gotta have patience of steel.
he's got to have like the most patient kind of personality. And Zach is clearly like a very impatient person. So it's kind of funny to think that he would genuinely just accept all of the shenanigans. But no, Zach is like that, unfortunately. He's weirdly almost a pushover in certain aspects. Obviously, as a leader, he's very brutal. You know, he's obviously very stubborn. He's very manipulative, very deceptive. That's just kind of how Zach is as a person, right? But in terms of like actually putting his foot down, he doesn't do it very often. You would think he would, but his authoritarianism doesn't come in very often until it's like absolutely like, okay, we need to do this like now, people. Like, this is crazy, you know? And so that's kind of how things are, and that's kind of how I guess the dynamic of Rose and Zach typically gets along. There's just too much. There's too much drama all the time with them that it gets to a point where both of them are just like, okay, we don't want to just absolutely disintegrate each other. We should at least learn not to disrupt each other too much. And you know, Rose, being Rose, she's just kind of the instigator of a lot of fights. You know, she's the kind of person that would absolutely start a fight just to start a fight. Like, she wouldn't do it for any other reason other than she just wants to irritate you, which is the worst kind of person. Worst kind of fight ever. You know what I mean? Like, oh gosh, dude. Rose would be a mess to deal with. She'd be a mess. Actual real life Rose? No. I would not want to handle that, dude. I don't know how Zach does it. For the greater good, in his opinion. You know, of course, Zach's greater good is barely manageable as a greater good. You know, it's more like the greater good for me and no one else. He doesn't see it that way, of course. I mean, that's just kind of how Zach is, so. It's more so like the greater good for most people, except the few that I'm screwing over with the actions that I'm partaking in. Oh. Like, if you think about it, destroying the afterlife would do basically one of two things. First of all, it would prevent any new souls from entering the afterlife. And then second, it would trap all of the remaining souls in the afterlife, unable to get back to Astromia. And of course, you're not supposed to go to Astromia anyway, but people do, because they want to check up on their loved ones, they want to enjoy the beauty of the Earth's, you know, not Earth, obviously, Astromia, but like the Earth's dirt and air and ocean and sea and all the beautiful aspects of living life, right? And the living world versus, you know, like, versus the, what do you say? Like the afterlife, where there is nothing like that. There's nothing like that. There's no air, there's no oxygen, there is water. It's not really real water. It's like, it's made of components of water, but I guess I can't really say it is, because it would have to have oxygen in it, and there isn't really any oxygen on Nova Tau. I'll figure out what that water is actually made of one day. Write that in my notes. What is the water made of? Do we know? We got eyes on the water? Oh my gosh, dude. It's made of something. Probably not oxygen, but, you know, something else. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yep, no, him closing off the portal would do so much damage on both regards. Both the ghosts that haven't even died yet or have been trying to go to the afterlife and can't because they're now trapped because of Zach, or because of the fact that, you know, because of the fact that now everyone who is there is trapped also, because they can't leave. They can't leave Nova Tau ever. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, that's just kind of how Zach's plan is not fully awesome. He's not good at thinking of things. And he, like I said, he wants it for his own benefit, of course. You know, as someone who has denied his own existence, he's basically denied for, you know, hundreds of years that he doesn't want to be a ghost anymore. He wants to go and live his life to the fullest. He wants to be alive again, and he just can't have that. And it just, you know, once again, thinks he's doing the greater good because he's like, well, this is suffering. This is suffering being a ghost. I don't want to be a ghost anymore. And once again, that also ends up being the notion of he also has to now destroy the entire afterlife because he doesn't exactly want to be a ghost forever either. And there is solutions to this problem, of course. I mean, he could just sleep a bunch, but like at the same time, I also get it. You know, living forever is not exactly a good prospect. I mean, it's pretty scary. A lot of people are like, I'd love to live forever, but if you actually think about it, would you really want to live forever? I mean, forever's a long time, you know. I mean, we all, you know, deserve to live long, prosperous lives, don't get me wrong, but living for thousands upon thousands of years sounds pretty crazy to me. It's hard to fathom, but it's also something like, it's just not really worth it, man. Like, there's only so many experiences you can experience for the first time. There's only so many things you can do before life would kind of start to get kind of boring, you know? Especially if technology stops advancing after a while. I mean, I feel like there's only so much it can get to, right? Potentially. I mean, I could be wrong. AI is definitely, unfortunately, surpassing my expectations. Which is scary, but, you know, just how the cookie crumbles. But, you know, if I'm being honest, I just don't think I'd want to live for, like, 400,000 years. Like, I mean, some of these phantoms, guys, in my story have been around for thousands of years. I can't even fathom that, dude. It can't be good. And the amount of memories these guys have is crazy, too, dude. Okay, this music isn't that bad. I took my headphone out for a little bit to talk, and then I realized I hadn't checked on the music to see if it was just the worst, but it's actually pretty good. I actually like this song. I'll make my own music one day, maybe. Anyway, there's a lot of aspects of Ghostmask that are still, the kinks are still being worked out as I go. Obviously, some things don't really make a whole lot of sense, and you can probably hear the plot holes literally forming as I'm talking. You're like, wait, what? Well, why does he need to destroy the afterlife, though? Why doesn't he just, like, leave? But, like, the whole point is that he doesn't want to leave. There is no leaving the afterlife. You know, he did try to leave, and he realized he couldn't live on Astromia. That's what Ray did as well. They both left in their own ways and for their own reasons, but they both left because they're like, well, where do we go now? You know? But you can't live on Astromia. There's just far too much nuance in a ghost living in the living world, you know? It gets too complicated. You have to have ID, you have to have, you know, numbers, you have to have a house, you have to have an address, you have to be able to, you know, and then think about it this way. By the time Ray got to Astromia, it was already technologically advanced, and there's cameras everywhere. And Ray, being a ghost, wouldn't show up on any of those cameras, meaning that he had to be extremely careful and basically go nowhere that had surveillance cameras. And remember, the modern day in Astromia is like 2004 for us. You know what I mean? It's not super advanced, but Ray would still, you know, they have flip phones, for example. But like they wouldn't have, Ray wouldn't have the ability to erase that footage without having to sneak in every single time, erase the cameras. It would be so much work, and he could just destroy them, except for the fact that there's people around, and they would see him doing something magical, and it'd be like, wait, what is this? What is this? What are you doing? What's this blue fire coming out of your hand? Why aren't you showing up on the cameras? Why are your eyes kind of glowing? Something's weird. You'd get caught right away. And Ray almost did get caught multiple times. And once again, the prospect of there being, you know, this afterlife world with ghosts would freak a lot of people out. So to try to not cause public panic, that's kind of why ghosts tend to keep it secret. It's not exactly the cleanest reasoning, don't get me wrong. I know you can, it's like Swiss cheese with these plot holes, okay? It's not perfect. But the whole point of the story is, once again, it's more so like, instead of being a more perfect understanding and balance of story, it's a really rough draft of what I want to do someday. rather than being something perfectly ironed out in like perfection. I have the ending planned. I mean, the ending is already done for Ghost Mask. I already know how I want it to end. I already know how I want it to begin. What really gets me is the meat and potatoes of the sandwich inside of the plot that I am still slowly unraveling like yarn. And it's not easy, okay? It's not easy writing a story, because do you know how many times I have sat down to write part of Ghost Mask and I'm like, okay, first things first, why does it center on Carter in the beginning if Carter is not a main character? And I am immediately stuck. I have planned this for a long time, like 12 years. And I am sitting here with this baggage of information. And I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do. I have all these ideas, you know. the names keep coming back to me. Pepe Sylvia. I have boxes full of information that I don't know what to do with. I don't know where to place it. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like untangling. You know what? You know that box of cords you got in your house? We all have it. The box of cords that has like 20,000 different wires in it of cords that you don't even use for like 20 different things. Like a TV that you don't even have anymore from like 10 years ago. You got a cord from a phone that doesn't even work. It's like all tangled and wrapped in a mess. The freaking thing's just broken. And you don't even know why you still have it. Then you're trying to get that one cord, that like one HDMI cord. That's the only HDMI cord that works, of course. And it's at the bottom. Of course it is. And it's the most the cord that you need is always the most tangled. I got sidetracked because it's making me angry thinking about unraveling a bunch of cords. But that is what it's like to write a story. And that's I think that's also a part of the reason why Ghost Mask is so hard for me to continue, because it's like, I want to continue it, but it is so hard to write a concise story with like a beginning, middle, and end that makes sense with good characters. Like, I can't explain how difficult it is to write characters. Even writing Ray, and he's my favorite character of all time. I love Ray. He's great. I put him in everything. He's literally my main character in every video game now. I love his story, but man, is he hard to write. TV chords! Anyway, it would cause mass hysteria for sure. It would cause mass hysteria. There'd be a giant explosion, probably some sort of like massive wavelength of I don't know, force. It would be chaotic. All right, it would be chaotic. It would be a mess. And that's kind of why Zach's plan is not exactly a good plan. He's not exactly a super like, you know, plan heavy kind of person. His plans consist of him basically throwing a fit because he can't have things his way. And once again, his way is that he doesn't want to be a ghost. And there ain't nothing he can do about that. And he does try to find a way to potentially become alive again. Now, once again, that doesn't work. In my story, when you're dead, you're dead. There is no coming back from that. You can't resurrect. There's nothing like that, man. There's no coming back, unfortunately. The only way you can be reborn is if your soul isn't aged enough to become a ghost in the afterlife. So, you know, all that mumbo jumbo. Once again, a plot hole, because that doesn't make any sense if you just listen to what I just said. It's like, what, soul age? Age? Like a fine wine? Like a cheese? What does that even mean? I don't know. I'm still working it out as I go. I love my story. I love it. It's my baby. But, I mean, there's times where it's just like, I need to restart. I need to start over. Gosh. My gosh, it's so bad. I will never financially recover from this. Gosh, me too, Zach, me too. And no, Zach's character is all over the place. I'm still figuring him out too. I mean, clearly I have a premise, obviously. Him going to the him going back to Astromia, mirroring what Ray does, and then him meeting Ray and Ray meeting Mantis. All of that connects. I think I talked about that on the last podcast or live stream or something. I guess it's not a podcast if it's just me. Yeah, I sure love my host. Me and me. Great. I would totally love to be on a podcast. I mean, they listen to me ramble about really, really stupid shit for like 20 minutes, but it's okay. It's okay. I like rambling. Rambling is my favorite part of the day. I finally just get to talk for who knows how long about something that it's just kind of random. But Ghost Mask, like I said, no words. Crazy stuff. In any case, though, like I said, I'm ironing out as I go. Another thing I also do like is I have been working on a little bit more of Mantis' story and his other half of his soul not other half, I guess I should say, other part of his soul that lives within him, called Darius. Now I haven't mentioned Darius really yet in extension of any sort, but he is part of the new part of the story that I've written where Mantis had a previous life, and that previous life was not old enough to become a ghost. So instead of forming as a ghost, his soul was reborn into Mantis. Now, the reborn thing is pretty crazy, okay? In order to be reborn, a lot of things have to take place. Your soul not only has to go back through the wormhole once more to become, to go inside another living person, but it also has to be, the certain age, and it also has to actually become a person, meaning that your soul is competing against thousands upon thousands of other souls that are waiting to be reborn, and new souls that haven't been born yet at all. So you may not be reborn for another 500 years, which is exactly what happened with Mantis and Darius, How's the music sounding? Okay. That's all I needed to hear. Can I have some music that doesn't sound like this? Oh, country. My favorite. Please. Classical? How's this? I'm good. Ambient? It's good enough. Okay. Back on track. Oh, you said it was good. Oh, I already changed it. Crap. I will never recover from this. Anyway. Okay. Hopefully it's still okay. Hopefully. I promise. Maybe one day I'll get my own composer. Just have like a little mouse with like a tiny violin just playing right by my station. I would use the Baldur's Gate music if it wasn't copyrighted. Down by the river. It would be so funny though. Oh, I would love it. Anyway, I was talking about something. I did lose my train of thought in the 2 seconds of chaotic humanity that just underwent. What was I doing? Anyone? Is that my brain? I was talking. Oh, I was talking about Mantis and Darius. Okay, thank God. The brain cell came back. Mantis and Darius, right? I wrote a bunch of stuff for them. Darius being this, 500-year-old soul that basically he is connected to Mantis via soul, and he can talk to Mantis. And Mantis is like, "Who are you?" There's like this random person talking to me, and it's because Darius, because of the way that his soul was formed, it actually got attached to Mantis. So most of the time, previous lives can't interact with their new lives. Like, you're not able to do that. But Darius and another thing with Chloe had kind of a weird thing happen where their souls started kind of, well, they share a soul, right? They share a soul, but like somehow that part of the soul that held the original information. Because remember, I kind of mentioned that souls are kind of like brains and that they hold information. They're much more than just a thing that gives you life, but they're a thing that actually holds information, judges your appearances, judges how you look. That's why it's almost like whenever you get reborn, almost like your soul is kind of being overwritten, almost like a computer file, like a hard drive. That's the best way I could probably describe a soul. It's like a hard drive in a computer, holds all that information, and it gets rewritten and erased every single time you're reborn until you become a ghost. And your soul has to be a certain age, requirement to become a ghost. And so basically they share a soul. Their souls are not split. Darius and Mantis share one soul, but somehow the information from Darius when he was alive somehow was still entangled into Mantis's soul. So Mantis is able to interact with him via the soul once again. And he visits him a lot. and he sometimes visits him when he's just, sort of just around. And Darius is one of those characters that is very unlikable at first, and he's kind of like, he was a king and a soldier essentially back in the 1500s. He was a king of this one part of the world. I think in I'd have to pull up my world map for Ghostmask. Give me just a moment. But yeah, he ruled part of this world, and essentially, where is it? Where is your Ghostmask prep? Oh, okay, nothing there. Cool. Okay, where's my Ghostmask? Where's my Ghostmask prep? Wait, where is Ghostmask prep? I had it pinned. Where is it? Come back to me. I will never financially recover from this. Yeah, dude. Zach is just fed up. He is just done. Oh, Contour. So Contour is a continent that is basically like North America, you could say, in terms of the equivalency of here, I can probably show it on screen. Here we go. Contour. This is hang on, wait. Is Contour Astramia or Novatau? Let me make sure I have this correct before I go spouting stuff, because I know that I was a little confused. I kept forgetting. Okay, so this is, yeah, okay, this is on Novatau. My bad. But this is the continent that that Ghostmask does take place on. Contour. This is in Novatau. Sorry, there's two different worlds that I have to look after. I have to look over Novatau, which is the afterlife, and Astramia, which is the living world. I almost said Alternia. Oh god. Homestuck will never leave my sight. But Kalman is the actual continent of Astramia, and Kalman is basically like in the equivalent area of Contour. This is starting to get confusing. Bear with me. But basically, he ruled the continent in Astramia, which is the living world and the equivalent. So whenever you die, you spawn basically perpendicular / parallel / sort of in the same area as you would in Novatau, because the planets are connected via the wormhole. Maddie, what the hell are you talking about? Trust me. Bear with me. Hang on. Gets confusing. This is what I was talking about. The cables. The TV cables. Anyway. So, yeah. Kalman. Basically, Darius had ruled over Kalman as part of the king. Not the entire continent. Mostly, like, one of the middle regions. I have to look up the countries' names because I cannot remember, because brain goop. But, in essence, Darius was this ruler. But he was also a fighter. He also fought alongside, troops and stuff. And he had, he had captains and commanders and stuff like that. He had an army, right? And he was fighting to protect, essentially, from what usually starts wars, which is country takeover. He was trying to prevent an invasion happening in the region that he became. He became a Canaan. But in terms of Darius, though, once again, he died really young, so he couldn't become. I think he was like just on the cusp of like becoming a ghost. He was like 20. Just barely 20. And like you have to understand that after a certain while, like your soul has to be just developed enough to become a ghost. It's very finicky. It's very specific. And Darius was right on the cusp of being 20 when he died. And you might be like, Maddie, that is really young for him to be a king. You're right. He became a king at a very young age because his father was slain, and he was next in line to be king. So he lost his father at a really young age. He was king at a very young age. Had no idea what to do. And so, Darius fights in this war, of course, and, things happen, and he dies in the war. And 500 years later, Mantis is born. And Mantis had no clue about any of this, right? No clue what's going on. No ideas of what Darius even is. And unfortunately for him, that's just kind of how the world is. Like, he now has to live with this basically half ghost haunting him. It's crazy. It's funny. It gets chaotic. And Darius tells him that his friend Ray reminds him of someone he once knew and fell in love with. Ooh, foreshadowing. Anyway, who would be a phantom, by the way? Do you mean Zack or Darius? Zack is technically not a phantom. In order to be a phantom, you have to be at least 1,000 years old. Zack is only like 200, 300-ish. So in order to be a phantom, you have to be really old. But in terms of Darius is also technically not a phantom. He would only be 500, but he's also not a ghost. He is basically a mistake. Which sounds mean, yes, but because of Zack messing with the wormhole for all those years, a lot of stuff has happened. Meaning that a lot of souls aren't properly being reborn. So Darius technically not a phantom because he's not only a ghost, he's, like I said, he's a mistake. He's not really a ghost. He's basically a pure soul. He's just soul at that point. And for some reason, his soul is able to also take on a physical form. And it lives inside Mantis. Like, Mantis basically can talk to this form, but no one else can see him. And Darius, like, even if he was a ghost, 500, still too young, not really a phantom. Unless I'm mistaken, which I could be mistaken. I could look up the file real quick. Hold on. I will look up the file, actually, because I could forget. Just in case, let me look it up. Ghost mask prep. Ghost mask prep. Oh, wait, you're right! 500 to 1,000 years. Never mind. I'm wrong. He would have been a phantom had he been a ghost, but he just didn't technically get the grasp. He doesn't have the power of a phantom. But yes, in technical terms, you are right. I'm glad I checked that because I couldn't quite remember the age range I had put on there. But yep, 500 to 1,000 years. Damn. That's old. Yeah, okay. Technically, yes, he would have been. Unfortunately for Darius, like I said, he was a mistake. He's not supposed to be there. Whenever a ghost is reborn and then their soul is replaced by another, or not soul replaced, but their hard drive, once again, the information is written over by a new person, technically no trace of that person should be left. Which sounds sad, but it's just how the world is. It's the rebirth of something new. And because of Zack potentially messing around with the wormhole, because you have to remember, all these years, Zack has been working on the laser. He's been experimenting with the laser. He's had Derthier make him the laser. Back in the 1980s, when Derthier became a ghost and met Zack, Derthier was basically forced to make this laser for him. There were a lot of reasons. Zack manipulated him. He lied to him. He did a lot of bad stuff. He wasn't exactly a good person. Obviously, because he had a very particular goal in mind, to destroy the afterlife in any way he could. And because of that, he's also caused a lot of other issues. Now, there's something called the Void in my story, and I have not talked about this. The Void. The Void is one of the scariest parts of Ghost Mask, I would say. Let me put my music back on. I feel like we were having some country going on, and I just cannot physically have that happen. I'm sorry. Country's good. I kind of like it. It's not for me. I'm gonna do this one again. Anyway, okay, so yeah. Oh yeah, Mantis could totally have a leadership role. He definitely does. His Darius encourages him to be a king first and a soldier second. Basically meaning, make everyone treat you like royalty. Make everyone bow down to you. Because unfortunately, Darius was also not a perfect person. He was a very, very crazy ruler. He was very powerful. And he was a good person. Don't get me wrong. He died fighting for his kingdom. But he also did let the power get to his head a bit. So he also had people unknowingly executed who he shouldn't have. And potentially that's why he gets the eyes of another person. Potentially someone that Chloe used to be, in fact. Start to kind of hate him. Maybe even the same person that shares a soul with Chloe. Who knows? But in any case, basically, like, it's complicated, right? In any case, though, the Void is something that I wanted to touch on because it's also one of my favorite parts of the story that I've written in. The void is essentially a pocket dimension inside of the wormhole. So Ray actually goes here at one point. Ray actually does go to the void. Something happens to Ray and he's sucked into this void. It's this pocket dimension of sheer nothing. It's not like there's blackness. It's nothing. There's nothing in this dimension. There is one person though. One person trapped in this dimension. One person who has the only soul ability in the entire world to be able to go to this dimension. Now, this is someone who I have not drawn yet, but is someone very important. This character is by far one of the most important characters in the later part of the game. In the game? God, I'm playing too much Baldur's Gate. In the story. Not the game. This is not going to be a video game. Could you imagine if I could make this a video game, though? Dude, so cool. Never gonna happen, unfortunately. Sadly. I do not have the skills to make my own video game. Trust me. If I could, I would have already. But yeah. I don't seem to have his name written on here. But I did have his name at one point. Unfortunately, I don't know where I've placed his name. Let me see if I can't find it somewhere. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the void and stuff, it's probably one of the scariest parts of Ghost Mask, because it's literally nothing, and there's a guy trapped there. But he is kind of willingly there, if I'm being honest. He knows he's the only person that can open up this void. This void stuff. Oh, his name is Lenny. Lenny. So Lenny is what I consider basically the closest thing equivalent to a Reaper. He's not actually the Grim Reaper, of course. He's not even really, he has a scythe, but I mean, he kind of has it for like the memes. But he's not actually like the Keeper of Death or anything. He's not actually like this like Grim Reaper sort of character that actually like is a skeleton. He's just some guy. But he does wear a long dark robe because he wears a hood because he likes to freak people out about it. He's a funny guy. He's a great guy, and he's like I said, willingly here because of the fact that yeah, I know his name being Lenny is also really funny. He's a funny guy. He's a funny character, but he's very down to earth. He's very, passionate about what he does. Very chill, very normal. Hi, welcome to the stream. We're talking about Lenny. I don't think I have any drawings of Lenny. I could be wrong. Let me see if I scroll past my 37,000 drawings of Baldur's Gate. I need a place to put all that fan art. It's not gonna, it's just dying. But, yeah, no, Lenny's a fun guy. I love Lenny. He's great. He is basically the Keeper of the Void. Keeper of the Void. And he, like I said, very good guy because he willingly stays there. He willingly knows that he can't really leave. Otherwise, if he does leave, he'll basically trap anyone else who's there forever because he's the only person who can open up the void portal. Lenny is basically the Keeper of the Void. Which, do you remember? This goes back to the analogy with the cords again. I'm sorry. My story is a mess. I'm trying to get it untangled like shoelaces after a race. I think that was a good analogy. I don't know. Like a box of cables that you have in your back storage closet that will never become untangled. Basically, that's what Ghost Mask is. There's so many characters. There's so many storylines. I'm so sorry. It gets confusing. Lenny's basically in the void. The void is a pocket dimension inside the wormhole that connects the afterlife to the living world. Complicated. It's a little complicated. Just a little bit. I promise it makes more sense in my head. But Lenny just watches over this place. He has a chair. There's a chair there. I'm taking the story seriously, don't get me wrong. But this part is actually really sad because, like I said, Lenny isn't there. He's there because he wants to protect other people from getting trapped in the pocket dimension. Oh, dude, Kirby's the name. I haven't seen him forever. Oh, I loved Kirby as a kid. Never understood the story. Just thought he was just some fuzzy pink guy. Oh my gosh. He's pretty old. Lenny's pretty old. I don't think he's the oldest ghost. The oldest ghost is technically Armathius, who's like 100,000 years old. And he talks so slow. He talks like the dragons from Skyrim. If you've ever heard the dragons, he basically talks like those. It's so slow because he has so much going on in his head. You can if you want. But in any case, I just basically am just talking about the complexity of Lenny and the void. He's got a chair from all the other people that have been to the void. Because sometimes people, when they die and go to the afterlife, sometimes the objects, whatever they're holding, sometimes comes with them. It kind of depends. It like phases through. Basically he just has a chair, a recliner, a notepad, some lint, you know, whatever random stuff people had when they died. Just super random. He's got like a bunch of photographs because people keep their photographs in their pocket. He's got credit cards that he can't use because he can't leave the void. There's no city here. There's no food. There's no water. It's the void. There's nothing. It's literally like you. It's so funny. I've got to draw a picture of it. But this poor man just sits in there, bored out of his mind, and he tells Ray when Ray gets to the void. When he gets to the void, he's like, you know. Oh my god, why'd the music get so loud? Jesus. But no, he gets there and he's like, you know, I actually have seen so many ghosts in the void. And Ray's just like, huh? What? I don't even know what this place is, man. Yeah, Lenny is technically, he would be considered a phantom, for sure. He's well over 500. But the problem is that he's actually only seen a lot of movement from the void in the last 100 years. So he tells Ray this. He's like, I've been here for a very long time, man. I'm bored out of my mind. I got my recliner. Oh, that's okay. Oh man, I remember I had a brace one time. I could not do anything. Man, it was on my right hand too, and I'm right-handed. Oh my gosh, I couldn't draw. I was so upset. But anyway, yeah, no, Lenny's a phantom. He is very old. He just sits in his recliner and he basically does nothing for all of eternity. It's kind of a sad existence, but he does appreciate doing it because he knows he's the only one that can open up the void. And unless he met another person who could open up the void like he could, there's basically no way around it. He wants to stay in there because he also is able to open the void and guide people out. Basically, if your soul gets stuck in the void. And he also tells Ray, you know, I've seen a lot of people in the last 100 years or so get stuck in the void, but I almost never saw anyone get stuck in the void. Once again, makes you think that maybe Zach, messing with the portal, messing with the wormhole, is kind of messing with the entirety of the circumstances of space. Like, he's kind of messing with literally, like, time and essence itself. Because remember, the wormhole also is just, it's a very powerful thing. Like, it's not just, like, it feels like you're traveling for, like, years and stuff, and it's actually just a few minutes of travel. It twists time and space itself. Oh, sorry about the noise. Hopefully that wasn't loud. Jesus. I love when I see the decibel just go red. But yeah. Yeah. It happens. Lenny. Poor Lenny. Trapped in the void forever. But you know what? It's okay, because eventually Ray does get there, and Ray's pretty upset about it too. He's pretty upset that, like, this poor man is just stuck in the void and has no way to get around it, no way to really resolve it. And, you know, it is how it is, you know. But the void also causes a lot of other issues later on in the story. It's a lot to get into right now. But yeah. I was gonna call it the Forgotten, it looks like, The Forgotten is not technically what I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna keep the Void. It also says Forgo was originally gonna be the word. I think I'm gonna change that to the Void. Accessible through tears in the wormhole. Sure is. Wonder why the wormhole's getting all messed up. Not like anyone's pointing lasers at it or anything. Just every single time. And you know, it wouldn't be so bad if once again the Void wasn't such a horrific place for a ghost to be. It's not exactly the life of luxury, if you will. Oh my god, dude. Poor Lenny. Poor Lenny. Poor guy's been stuck in the Void for like hundreds of years. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, it's okay though. Hey, powerless wafer. Dude, I'm so excited to continue on with this channel. But man, and my story. But man, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's complicated. The relationship I have with my channel now is like, it's like looking at the broccoli decaying in your fridge when you promised yourself you were gonna eat it. You promised yourself you were gonna eat the broccoli and you didn't, and it's just rotten, and you're just like, I'm gonna eat that broccoli tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna work on a video tomorrow. The tomorrow comes. Well, you see, what happened was there's this game. I don't know if you've heard of it. Won a couple of Game of the Years already. Oh, the Void always stares back. It's just so hard. It's hard to keep going. But man, I love writing stories. I still love writing stories. And I want to make a comic. I'd love to make a comic still. I did start a comic. I tried to work on it the other day and I was like, I desperately need to get back in the swing of things. Like, what's going to happen, man? My channel's dead. It's dying. Nothing else is going to happen. Man, I didn't even finish my character references. It may or may not be called Baldur's Gate 3. May or may not. may or may not be called that. I have 20,000 storylines of that game alone, and they're all involving my character. And romances. Oh, God. What has that game done to me? It's okay. It's inspiring me to work on Ghost Mask, at least. It is inspiring me. I do have so many like inspirations to want to continue making a story, because I'd love to make a story that well acclaimed someday. I know I know that's very, very difficult, because Larian is full of like these studio writers that have like 20 plus years in writing, and senior developers, and obviously they're way more knowledgeable in storytelling. And even that game, I love it, but even then, some of the stories are definitely not perfect. There's definitely some things that happen that you're just like, well, it could have been written a little bit better, a little weird, but yeah, still great. But yeah, I use a lot of other stuff to help me motivate me to make stories and make art and make content. I'd say I really want to make an animatic with Hozier's. Is that how you say his name? Hozier? His new song, Too Sweet. Love it. 10 out of 10 song. It's been stuck in my head since I started listening to it. I was waiting for that full song to drop. I heard a little bit of it on TikTok and I was like, dude, oh my gosh, I gotta listen to that. Oh yeah, Armathius. Armathius' name is pretty crazy. What is it? It's like Amratheus. Armathius. Yep. Armathius. Yep. Armathius is a crazy name. I love him. He's great. He's like one of like the very first ghosts that ever became a ghost. He is great. I don't know if I've shown Armathius on here before, but he's got like the dark dreads, and then the green and then the green eyes, and he's got like the cheek stuff too, like the green cheek lines. And I couldn't tell if I wanted that to be more of like some sort of like face paint, or if I wanted that to be like a like part of like the blood maybe being green when they become phantoms, and it like glows through his face and kind of gives these cool green lines. I'm not sure yet, but I really love Armathius. He's great. He's awesome. 10 out of 10. Great guy. He does talk to the ghosts eventually. He just doesn't talk to them for a while. And once again, the phantoms talk. They're so slow to talk, dude. Especially when they get that old. Like, after, like, 10,000 years of becoming a phantom, your speech slowly starts to slow down. And it's because, the reason is because you just have so many memories and so many thoughts that you literally just can't contain it anymore. And that's kind of why it becomes so difficult for phantoms to talk. But yeah, they have some cool names. I got some good phantom characters that will be that I will be drawing and making more appearances of. But Armathius is probably the main one that I have. Yeah, let me see if I have any other phantom names on here. I don't think I do. Goodness gravy. I've got it's like 20 pages worth of lore, by the way, that I've worked on over the past 3 or 4 years. Because I've worked on this story for like 12 years, but like I've also not written down all of it. I actually found some of the stuff I had written the other day. Or not the other day. It was like 5 years ago. But like I remember seeing it. I was like, I gotta get that, you know, because it's old, but it's so bad. Oh, it's okay. I'll probably still stream for a little bit longer. Yeah. Larry. Lenny? I don't know why, but Larry is such a fun name for me. I think of Larry the Lobster. Living like Larry. Lenny, technically. Lenny doesn't actually talk that slow, though, because he's a little over 500 years, so he's not super slow to talk yet. His mind's not full of complete and utter crazy memories yet. He doesn't have a whole lot of memories to really look back on. I mean, dude's been in the void for this entire time. He doesn't even really remember his past life. I think he was like, since it was 500 years ago, it would have been like in the 1500s in the story. It would have been like, oh god, what would he have even been? A jester? What happened in the 1500s? Does anyone know? Anyone there? Anyone got sources on the 1500s? What happened? Oh, the fashion was appalling. Let me just tell you. My cat's freaking out. Oh my gosh. Fashion appalling. My god. Oh my gosh. Okay, but like in any case, right? He did something. But a lot of phantoms start to not really remember their past life because it starts to happen for so many years that it takes forever for things to actually, like, for you to actually remember things going on. You know what I mean? Like you start to forget. And that's natural with age. I mean, of any age. But especially when you're immortal, dude, you're not gonna remember, like, eventually you're gonna forget, because visual memory is also not lasting. Visual memory doesn't really last in terms of, from what I understand, especially from like hearing about people who like go blind and stuff later on in life. I've heard that a lot of them say that they once used to be able to see, and they no longer can retain the visual memory after going blind. Like, you just can't remember it anymore. I don't know if it'd be technically the same, because that would also mean that the visual input, you're no longer getting visual memory, so of course it would make sense for your mind to slowly forget. I have to assume, based on the fact that we're not immortal beings and I can't really measure that in terms of real life, I just have to assume after 1,000 years you're probably not going to remember much in your first 10 years of being a ghost. You know what I mean? Like, just in terms of like, because I can't really do anything to measure this hypothesis, I just have to guess. And I haven't been around for 500 years. So I can't exactly test the theory. But yes, ghosts don't exactly remember a whole lot after a while. I'd have to assume. That would make a lot of sense. Especially if you're a phantom. And to be fair, though, I mean, you know. Oh, Lenny does have a funny name. Living like Lenny. In the void. poor guy. All he has is a recliner and like a few objects to like. I like to think he has a crossword puzzle that every once in a great while, he's already done it like 4,000 times, but every once in a while he just erases it to the point, and the paper's probably like thin at this point. It's probably like paper thin. I mean, it's paper, so of course it'd be paper thin. Thinner than paper. What's thinner than paper? I don't know. One of those like trace sheets that you can get that where you like put it over the paper and you trace over it. I don't know. It's really thin, right? The paper's worn out. It's like yellowing. It's like aged. And he's got the crossword. It's the only thing he has to do to pass the time in the void. And he erases it for the 15th time, and he does it for the 15th time. And he's like, huh? Crosswords, huh? 5-letter word for currency. Money. Yep. Never seen that word before. Oh my god, dude. No, poor Lenny, dude. Poor Lenny. Okay, I gotta let my cat in. Oh my god, dude, she's freaking out. Hello? Hi. What's up? Anyway, though. Oh, poor Lenny. I mean, I didn't mean for him to have such, like, a tragic story. It's not supposed to be a tragic backstory of someone being trapped in, like, a void for 500 years. But it's more so to be, like, he genuinely is a good person who's there to protect other souls from getting trapped in the void because he's the only one that can open it up. I know a lot of people joining the stream are going to be like, what is the void? What are you talking about? I promise. Back to the beginning. The box of TV cables. And the one cable you need is at the very bottom. That's me with Ghost Mask. Every time, man. Every time. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Gosh, this story's killing me. Audrey, can you not bump my mic? Can you not do that, please? Just hear a whack and it's just, oh. I'm so sorry, headphone users. He's such a good kitty, though. Despite the fact she keeps rubbing her face on my mic. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. He doesn't use his soul power. The only thing he uses it for is to save ghosts out of the void. Whoever's poor soul's been trapped in the void. And so many people get trapped in the void. Thousands now because of Zack. But before, he only had like 5 or 6 souls in the entirety of 500 years. In the entirety of 500 years, he's only had like 5 souls. And then when Zack starts messing with the wormhole, when he starts lasering at it like a maniac, pew, 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 every single time, it starts to create ripples and tears. And that's causing all these pocket dimensions to open up. But it all leads to the void. The more voids, or the more dimensions to the void, of course, the more people that are going to get sucked into it. Because it's basically like this dimension that draws you in. It's actually where Ray goes, like I said. Something happens to Ray. At a certain part in the story, something really bad happens to Ray. And it's actually really tragic. And most people react to it pretty badly. All of the characters, especially Mantis, who is just... Mantis is the sort of thing that happens... He's the sort of character that's like... If something happens to the person you care about the most, they just kind of go stoic for a while. And the anger doesn't really show until it does. Like, the anger doesn't really show at first. But you can tell you done goofed. You messed up, man. You've like angered one of like the rage of someone who's just lost like the love of their life is something that is just unknown. And so yeah, Mantis is not exactly happy after that whole situation happens. Lenny's not a fan of Zack, but remember, he doesn't really know about Zack. He doesn't know about the outside world. So what little he does know about the outside world is what people tell him when they are in the void. You know, he'll learn a bit about history. He'll ask, like, you know, if it's a modern day person now, if it's someone in like modern day clothing, he'll be like, hey man, how's it out there? You know, how are phones? He'll be like, you'll never believe it. They've got screens. And Lenny's like, what's a screen? Because he keeps forgetting, because he didn't grow up with technology, so he's like, a screen. And people have to describe it, because a lot of times, even though most people have their phones on them nowadays, he doesn't really get very many phones. He has a couple that he looks at that are like, oh, this is cool. But most of them are like flip phones or phones that are just kind of broken. So the thought of a phone having like a full TV on it, it's all a bunch of confusing words for Lenny. Lenny's too confused by all of the notions of whatever modern technology is like nowadays. Oh no, Audrey, please don't lay on my keyboard. Jeez, please. Please. Okay, anyway. But yeah, Lenny doesn't really know about Zach until Ray starts to tell him about it. And then Lenny's kind of like, okay, wait, this guy's like, you know, he doesn't really, even Ray doesn't really know about the lasers at that point, I don't think. He knows a little bit about the lasers, but I don't think he knows what Ray or what Zach is doing with the lasers, other than trying to destroy other ghosts with them. And so it gets confusing, man. It's confusing. The lore is absurd. The void. Ugh. But no, I mean, in all honesty, I am still trying to work on this story. It's just really hard. It's so messy and tangled. But my goal is to eventually go somewhere with it. Whether I do make the comic, whether or not I ever get the motivation again to continue making videos on a regular basis. Kind of whatever happens. It is kind of just how it's going to be, you know. But for the most part, I will keep you guys updated. I've got all sorts of art and stuff that I want to upload. I do kind of want to stream on a different channel and stream video games. Just for fun. Just for funsies. I don't think I'm going to make this channel, like I said, a gaming channel, though, because this is my art channel. It's staying art. Don't worry. It's not going to change into anything else. It'll always be an art channel. But if you guys ever want to, I will probably put a link to Twitch or something. And Twitch. I will probably stream on Twitch video games of various sorts. Probably be a bit more unhinged than my normal streams. I'll probably put like a warning, like probably gonna cuss a lot more and be a little bit more chaotic. Hope you don't mind. But because this is more of a chill channel, I tend to kind of keep it the chaos to a minimum if I can help it. And Lord knows, the second I start the stream, everything falls apart. The audio doesn't work. It's too loud. It's too quiet. I'm too loud. It's too quiet. The cat comes in, knocks over the mic. Shit falls. It's a mess. Most streams are a mess, and I love it. I love how unhinged they are, because I don't necessarily stream with the intention of being like this perfect streamer where everything goes well. That's just not. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I do plan, but I don't really plan well, you know. I kind of things just sort of happen. Well, I was thinking once we find him, then we kill him. You know, that kind of thinking. But, like, you know, once again, just, yeah. I'll continue working on videos, continue working on shorts, continue working on other stuff, and maybe, just maybe, I'll stream a video game or two on another channel. And I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up from there. It's been an hour and a half. I forgot I had stuff I had to get done today. Oh no. Oh no. It's okay. I had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys did too. Be sure to catch me for another stream coming up. Probably 2 weeks from now, I think. You know, I think I'll try to get back into more of a regular basis of streaming. I've been having a lot of fun with the streams lately. Thank you guys for joining me. You guys are always fun to talk to, and I appreciate you guys staying for the stream. Appreciate it. I always have fun with these streams. Like I said, always appreciate your guys' support. As always, I love that you guys still come to my stream, even though my channel's been kind of dead. I really do appreciate that. Ow! What? No, you bite me! No! She's biting me, and she's sleeping on my keyboard! Sorry, I'm trying to wrap up the stream. And here this kitty is. Thanks for that, Audrey. Love you. Thanks for just laying on all my stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. And, ow! She bit me, and it hurt, and she stole my artist glove off my hand. God, chaos. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to stop the stream. You know, if she lets me grab the mouse, please. I'm stuck here forever, guys. Sorry. Anyway, join me for next stream 2 weeks from now. Join me on another channel if I do video games. I'll leave a link somewhere. Probably the what is it called? The YouTube homepage or whatever. Anyway, whatever it's called. See you guys later. Hope you guys had a good stream. Thank you once again for joining. And have a good night. Thanks for joining me for the chaos. Bye.